Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of TFS. My name is Rebecca. I'm here with my co-host Chelsa.
Hi.
Today we have the owner of Talisman Cauldron,
Hi.
Laura. So my first question is, what was your inspiration for opening Talisman and Cauldron?
Well, I grew up in Southern California where spiritual and mystical shops are kind of a dime a dozen, not so much in Connecticut. I decided to open a shop that would offer all things mystical, magical, and natural. Initially choosing Monroe, Connecticut, where I was for 10 years. Now I'm in Derby, Connecticut for all of 1 month. But Monroe, Connecticut offered an interesting aspect where the Warrens, the famous ghost hunters, the owner of the Annabelle doll, that reside there. There's a Union Cemetery, very famous for its hauntings. So the community sort of embraced the idea of having a mystical or witch shop, as it were, in the area. And it actually never posed any issues or concerns. We were sort of embraced right away. Mm-hmm. And people enjoy the idea of coming in and being able to shop for stones, for oils, incense, candles, statues, handmade jewelry. Work very hard to buy from local people. We support the local community, the artisans who reside mostly in Connecticut, honestly. We've got some really talented people here. In addition, I try to buy from U.S. families. So my Buddhist items are made by a man, or come from Nepal, from a Nepalese American who lives in New York. Nice. Yeah, and he's got his kids and his wife, and most of my stones come from Brazil. A man named Nathan, his wife and kids are they're down in Georgia now. They were in Bridgeport, but he comes through with his truck so many times a year, and I buy from him. Greg goes to Mexico, buys the Mexican folk art. He knows the families he's buying from. So we really try to keep it, we're supporting families, we're supporting Fair Trade Act, we're supporting companies that are kind to working women. So that's important to us.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And you do have such amazing stuff in your store.
All
the Buddhas everywhere.
I stumbled upon your store in Monroe just through friends from school. I was going to school in Newtown, and one of the girls there was like, let's go to this spirit shop. I was like, oh yeah. So we went, and then that was it.
It's a fun shop to work at. It's a fun shop to buy for. Thank you. The new shop has been wonderful.
Oh yeah. We're going to come visit the new store.
Thanks. Thank you.
On TFS. I want
to take a
Thank
tour.
You.
It really is.
Thanks, Chelsa.
Wait, next time we have to bring the cameras there and show the new store for sure.
Yeah, so tell us about some of the products, and then maybe next time we'll even film more.
So again, we try to carry mystical, magical, natural. Stones are probably one of the most popular things that we sell. Hand-wrapped stone jewelry. People like to wear their stones. We also have our own product line. We make some things that people enjoy. We do charged candles, like this one that I made for Chelsa's mother, actually. Mm-hmm. It's just a blessing candle. Helps lighten the energy in the home. It kind of softens things up a little bit. That's
I love those candles.
I think you and I have bought every color, right?
Actually, lit this one right here.
I think we've done them all.
On it? I don't know if the camera can see, but this is.
Well, after you sage or you cleanse your house, a lot of people do that. A lot of folks are saging more than ever. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Long Island Medium, because she's always waving her sage around. Yeah. Everyone is saging now. It's awesome. It's an excellent idea. But the white candle kind of neutralizes energies as well. And just sort of...
It's pure, right?
It does. It just neutralizes everything.
Oh, I love it.
Can bring in an angelic sort of presence,
right,
if you're looking for that. And most people just want to keep things calm and peaceful. And that's what we're looking for.
That's everything.
Well, we can talk about maybe things like, talk about neutral energy, room rebalancing stones.
Oh, I've never seen that.
I know. And I began doing this because one of my Reiki teachers... Her husband, also a Reiki master, is a teacher at a high school. And so he was saying that he was doing one of the final exams a couple years ago. He decided to Reiki the test papers. And then he put black tourmaline in the four corners of the room. Black tourmaline neutralizes energy, sort of changes negative to positive. And then he put a pink quartz under every single desk. Didn't tell the students this, right?
Oh my
The students come in, they're all worked up. It's a final exam. They sit down, they do their test. He's sitting at the door watching. They were leaving. They filed out, handing their papers. But they were saying, I think I did good. I feel really good about that test.
That's wonderful.
And the test that year graded at a 30% higher curve than the year before.
Wow.
So the idea of rose
like
quartz bringing about self-love, but it works.
It's
you
energy.
know,
Energy
it is energy.
Something real.
But the idea of neutralizing energy, amplifying energy, it can shift an entire room. And I think when we're talking about a very active living room, we all know some. We all know energy. We've all gone looking at homes, open houses where you walk into a house and it doesn't feel right. It feels heavy. If you've ever been into a house where there's a divorce going on, if you've ever been into a club or a bar after a fight, a physical altercation, you can actually feel the energy. The air is charged. It's actually almost vibrating when you walk in. Yeah. If no one told you there'd been a fight there, you'd know something had happened that was off because it feels off. Right. And that's where the idea of neutralizing, disseminating, just sort of clearing the air, literally. If you don't, over time, it sounds so crazy, but it's almost like cosmic dust bowls. They actually sort of weigh the room down. And when someone says the energy's heavy, it's hard to breathe. I can't get comfortable. The conversation isn't flowing. You know? That houseplants are another thing that help, though. In China, when they're going to clear a house, of course the Chinese do things much slower than we do. They understand things can take time, and Americans tend to want things, can I just spray something and be done, right? Yeah. But in China, in feng shui, they'll actually take a 3 or 4-year-old boy and just bring him into the empty house and follow him around with notepads and see, where is he comfortable? Where is he playing? What rooms does he avoid?
That's so cool.
And they sort of use the child's energy. So I'm always welcoming children to the shop. I love kids in the shop. I've never had a child break anything. I've never had a problem. In fact, just today, someone came in with their little girl, 3 years old, and was saying that she was autistic. And she's like, she's always getting into it. I said, just relax. She's fine. She's like, but she's so calm. She's not running around. And they don't. Kids tend to just chill. We have a pet psychic. People bring their animals in, and the animals almost automatically just lay on the floor. And we have a nice cool tile floor. In both shops, it was like that. But they just calm right down.
But your store is very soothing. When you walk in, the energy is unbelievable. I mean, I've come in and
I'm pretty laid back.
We've spent hours
I've lapsed into
looking at things
and more laid back. So
talking to you, and your store's incredible.
Thank you.
Anybody
Thank you.
Good energy
with negative energy would walk in there and immediately it would neutralize.
It's nice, actually, and it works that way too.
It's unbelievable.
Thanks. Yeah.
So, what's your client base? What would you say you see more of?
At this point, I honestly see everyone from Wall Street bankers. I pull from a very wide geographic area. Westchester, Greenwich, Westport, they come up. Having moved the shop, it was a lateral move, so it's no further for them to travel. I also see people who are blue-collar workers, women who are in abusive marriages. People, magic is sort of the place of last resort. And it always has been that way since the beginning of time. When people really don't know what else to do, that's when they want to light a candle, or that's when they want to have a powder or a spray or a stone, something to alter the reality of what's going on. That's what magic does. Magic is literally superimposing your will over a set of circumstances. So that's why the full moon, we talk about full moon, wishing powder, we'll talk about that later on. But the idea of working with lunar energies, solar energies, the seasons of the year. Even the Catholic Church, works the wheel of the year, the liturgy of the year, follows a pattern. The colors the priests wear behind the altar, that changes. The altar cloths change. The flowers on the altar change seasonally. And we change based on the season. Our own energies, our own attitudes, our own feelings change. During the winter, the colder months, especially here in New England, where we have such definitive seasons. The winter, what do you want to do? You want to bake. You want to nest. You want to decorate, paint. You start studying more. You tend to cocoon.
It's true.
What does the summer bring about? You knit.
She knits.
I'm like, sorry, I'm hibernating.
And in the summer you paint. In the summer you
Yeah.
paint.
But even there, we change our clothing, we change our makeup, we change even our hair will lighten up. We lighten up. And we want to be outside, we're busier. Following a agrarian season, that's when you were gardening. You had such a short season to do those things. So the crafts, the knitting, the painting, the writing of books, that would all be a winter type thing. And think about this too. We have a short season in Maine. Where do so many writers live? Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. That long winter is very prolific for creative people to just sit and write. That just seems to bring about...
That makes sense.
It does.
It does.
But it's all energy at the end of the day. So.
Such a wealth of knowledge.
Okay.
So tell us, what classes do you teach there?
We teach more now that we've moved, but we've always done a lot of past life regressions. I have a wonderful man. He's a PhD, Dr. Neblett. He's a clinically trained, licensed hypnotherapist.
Wow.
And you wouldn't think in a group setting that you could do a past life regression, and in fact it works beautifully. So we're able to keep our prices very low, and he moves you past 2, sometimes 3 lifetimes.
Wow.
The amazing about past life regression, and it was really written more about with now my mind is just going to absolute blank. It's a famous psychiatrist who began working with past life regression.
Yep. We talked about this, and on our last show, we had someone who did magic.
One with Nevin.
And yeah, he did magic, and he does hypnotizing. And
Yes.
I was asking him about past life regression, if he does
Well,
it.
when people have phobias that make no
Right.
sense, someone's afraid of the water who doesn't live anywhere near the water.
Right, and it comes from...
It comes from past life experiences. But the way it started was this psychiatrist was just interested. He wrote a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. His name
That's
is
the book.
out of my head.
Yep,
It's a
that's
great
the
book.
book.
Everyone should read this book, whether
Yep.
you believe in this or not, or you want to learn about it or not. It's still a fascinating study. He became a hypnotherapist, just how people get over phobias. And he thought he could just put them in a hypnotic state where they could talk about their fears. But the first time he did it, and it was being taped, the woman goes into a deep meditation, a deep state,
Relaxed.
and she starts talking in Greek. And she's talking about this, whatever she was talking about. He just thought, well, Greek must be her first language. And in fact, when she came to, he said, so you didn't tell me you spoke Greek? She goes, what are you talking about?
Imagine.
But she actually, when they translated that, was talking about a past life she had in Greece, rather. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
And these people that we have in our lives that can be so difficult that we can't seem to break away from, again, phobias, illnesses. Yes, they can be brought back by they can be part of past life issues. Now, Stephen Hawking, probably the most brilliant scientist of our time, will probably never see anyone quite as amazing what he's done scientifically, quantum physics, the books he's written, the stuff he's discovered. Even he's a lifelong atheist, has recently said that he does see the possibility for this eternal life idea, because energy has to go someplace.
Yeah.
So reincarnation for him made sense.
The soul doesn't die.
No,
so.
We're all energy.
We are all,
believe that.
everything is
I believe
energy.
in energy. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a woman of science, and I agree with Mr. Hawkins.
It's true.
But people were shocked when he came out with that, though.
Yeah.
They were just stunned.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because energy can't really be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be going someplace. Whatever makes us uniquely us has to go somewhere.
That's why I always say this is just cloth. Like, this just covers our soul.
One of my mediums calls it the meat suit. You're wearing your meat suit.
It is. It is, though. Oh, God. It's unbelievable.
All right. Well, then that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you
And
for
we'll
coming.
see you guys next time on TFS.
Bye.
Bye.